Ozturk v. Hyde and Mahdawi v. Trump, the two habeas decisions out of the Second Circuit on May 7th and May 9th, 2025. Mr. Mahdawi, I believe, has been released from ICE detention. I believe he was a green card holder. Miss Ozturk, of course, being that woman who went to Tufts University, who, I don't know, signed on to some academic letter that criticized Tufts for its response to the war in Gaza,
Hmm.
who Marco Rubio said that means she loses her visa to be a graduate student in America. It's just wild stuff. Flat out First Amendment protected conduct, whether you agree with it or not. And immediate detention, snatched off the street in Massachusetts and shuttled off, as it came known, first to Vermont and then, of course, to Louisiana, where she was detained. And ACLU jumped on board and filed a habeas action to keep her, at least part of her case, the detention case, to keep her physically in Massachusetts. But as it turns out, by the time that ACLU could even file it, like a couple hours later, she had already been moved to Vermont. So the Massachusetts court sent it to Vermont. And so now it's a Vermont case, still the Second Circuit. Well, Massachusetts First Circuit. So Second Circuit. The Vermont court ordered her return to detention in Vermont, and the Second Circuit has affirmed that. ICE can't just snatch people up and send them to Louisiana and say, that's it. Now, actually, maybe they can if you can't get your habeas petition filed in federal court before they're physically in the state of Louisiana. So, it becomes a race to the courthouse, which is insane. Kind of what we were talking about at the beginning about how immigration has right now become a practice of emergency after
Yeah.
emergency. But this is what happens when you win. The Second Circuit has affirmed that Miss Ozturk must be brought back to Vermont. If she's got to be in removal proceedings, it can be over video to a judge in Louisiana if that's what ICE wants to do to forum shop to get the Fifth Circuit. But she's got to be brought back to Vermont, not in those very uh, poor prisons in Louisiana. The Second Circuit said some of these very difficult jurisdiction stripping provisions do not bar a federal judge from doing this. So long as you're not challenging removability, Miss Ozturk is not challenging that she's removable, at least in federal court. And that is one of the things that gets you around jurisdiction. So